Alright everybody, here we are. We're going to go through how to set up a miner today. This is actually really easy to do. Anyone can do it. You just got to do a little bit of reading and some trial and error. Eventually you can get it. Today I'm going to show you how to use Claymores dual Ethereum miner. This will work with an AMD and NVIDIA cards. I have an AMD I'm going to mine with. My NVIDIA is actually running my displays right now, so I'm not mining with that. But you're going to have to go to this site here. It's Bitcoin Talk. If you're not familiar with it, you should probably start getting familiar with it. And you can see here that there's this guy named Claymore, and he's legendary, and he's a donator. And he actually does a very good job with the code here. This is almost perfect. It works amazing. So all you gotta do is go to this website here. This is version 11. He actually added 2 algorithms. Now you say, what is an algorithm? An algorithm is just a way that the graphics card computes the equations. So Ethereum algorithm is different than Decreed, Cycoin, Library Pascal. Blake 2S is one of the new ones he added, and Kekak. Blake 2S, you can do Verge. It's one of the cheaper coins. Kekak, I forget the ones, but I had a couple set up trying that as well. So basically you just got to go to this website here, and then you're going to want to download the file. I normally go with the mega file, but you guys can do whatever you want. You can use the Google one if you wish. But yeah, I normally take the mega one. And if you look on this page, there's all types of different variables and whatnot, and direction. I suggest you read it. I'm going to give you the shortened version. You really don't need to read it all. I'll get you up and running. But if you want to add certain values and change certain variables, this is where you're going to do it. And actually, I'm mining right now on the same computer as we are speaking. So we have this going on over here, a little mining action as we're speaking. And we'll let that scroll for a second. Yeah, this card does actually quite good. It gets me about 30 hash a second, and that dual coin there, that's the Verge. So Verge does pretty well also. And I feel like it's a coin that has a lot of upside potential. Like, it could double easier than I see Ether doubling. So this is why I mine this as a secondary coin here. This keeps everything good for me, but you do use extra power, just so you know. There's a good amount of extra power that you use, so take that into consideration when you're doing your calculations. So yes, I was just getting that ready. And here we are. So now I have the file downloaded. And again, you just go to this website here. I'll put the link in the description of my YouTube video. I'll post a YouTube video hopefully tonight, if not tonight, tomorrow. I just got to do some quick editing on it. But you're going to go to this mega link here, and you're going to download this here file. Just extract it here. What I normally do. I would suggest putting it in a folder called Claymores. Yeah, see, I got a virus pop up on that, but it's pretty much a false positive. I wouldn't worry about it. And when you're just extracting, Windows does come with a built-in extractor, but I like to use WinRar. It's like a free trial version program, but the free trial really never ends. So I'll put this link in the description as well. That way you guys can get this if you want. It's a little bit better than the standard Windows extractor. So as you can see, he really goes into depth, and there's tons of variables here you can change. But anyway, so now we have this. The files here. It's in this folder. We're going to open that up. That's fine. And we're going to find the start.bat file. That's the one we want. Basically, this is the file that will start the miner for you. This right here, this is the miner. So all you want to do here is right click on it and click edit. That's going to open up your start.bat file. And if you look here, there's already an address set up for both of them. This is set up to dual mine already. We're not going to go into dual mining right now. We're just going to stick with the single mining. Dual mining, maybe I'll do it in another video. So we got that there. This is, like I said, this is that program here. So the start.bat is going to call that file epool. Now what is epool? That's your ether pool. Now we need to show you how to get a pool. And how to pick the one that's best for you and pick the correct port. But first we're just going to add some quick variables in here. These variables help your AMD card do better. They're recommended to be set by everybody pretty much. So little variables here. Yeah, so these are standard variables. Setx, 464-bit. Increase the max heap size. Use sync objects. Single allocation percent 100%. And max 100%. So you just want, the card to be pretty much turned up to the max. That's basically what that means. You're going to go ahead and just put that up top in this file. Yeah, so just put that up top. So you're good to go there. Now we got to find you a pool. Okay, so normally you could just Google Ether pool or Ethereum pool. But I found this site here that works very good. It shows you a bunch of different pools and lets you compare them. I'll leave that in the description as well. The one that I use is this top one here, Ethermine. This is another popular one, F2 pool. The fee though is just ridiculous, 3%. And it's located in China, so it would be very laggy for me. I don't think they have any servers here in the States. So, Mining Pool Hub, that's another okay one. That one you actually have to make an account for, though. I normally go with the ones that you don't, just because it's easier not have to log in. You can sort of just log in by your wallet address. So yeah, and there's different reward types as well. PPLNS basically means that you're going to get paid for the amount of shares that you find. So basically, it depends on how much you can hash at the shares that you get. And then once you guys find a block, like basically the reward, it's then split up. So whatever amount of work you did during that time frame, if you did 1%, 2%, 0.5%, you would get that much of the pot. I normally tend to go with these ones because I feel they're more fair. This one here is a different style. That's pay per share. So basically, no matter what, if they find a reward or not, they're getting paid. Now, the thing that bothers me about these ones is that who's to say what they're paying you is right? And, you know, how do they know what, like, how often they'll find a block in order to pay out? So that's the things that bother me a little bit about those ones. It seems like most Ether pools listed here are that way. This is solo. I guess that's by yourself you can mine. It's really not recommended unless you have like a lot of power. I was on this one before, and I was on this one, so I would recommend Ethermine for someone that, you know, has like a card or so, one graphics card, maybe a couple. These other ones, they're not as big, so you could, if you have a big rig, a lot of hash power, you could probably jump in these and be fine. But if you're a smaller miner, I recommend the largest pool. But that's completely up to you. Basically, all you really need to do is click one of these links here, and then that'll tell you like exactly how to set it up. So we'll click, we'll do the Ethermine one. But first, I want to show you a little bit more about the reward types. I have this link here that explains it. I'm not an expert. I'm kind of new at all this stuff. I think I've only been mining for about 6 months so far, maybe a little bit more. So I'm still learning everything, but here's the descriptions of all these different mining reward types for these pools. Like I said, PP, LNS, pay per last end shares. Similar to proportional, but instead of looking at the number of shares in the round, instead it looks at the last end shares, regardless of the round boundaries. So see, even that like is kind of confusing to me. Pay per share, like I said, that's the one that you get a certain amount no matter what. Proportional, when a block is found, the reward is distributed among all workers proportionally to how many shares each of them is found. See, that's probably one of the best ones, but like I said, I've never even seen one of those. So there's one there. Yeah, let's take a look. See what this looks like. It even loads. Here's the thing, you have to pick something kind of reliable as well. That's why I tend to go with like the bigger ones. And you want to make sure that the one that you pick is finding blocks. If the one you pick hasn't found a block in a few days, you know, you're gonna waste your time pretty much. So that's why I tend to go with, see if it can't even be reached. I don't know if that one's down or whatnot, but Malaysia, maybe that's why coin mine. It's coin mine. Alright, so yeah, this is 1, 2. This looks like it's one you gotta log in and sign up for. Like I said, I don't particularly like those, but you know, I have used them in the past, and I would again, you know, if I need to. I just, you know, prefer not to myself, but anyway. Let's see if we can show you anything here. Getting started. Normally when you go to a pool page, you're going to want to look for help, or something that says help, or something that says getting started. Basically, that's going to tell you exactly how to set it up, and it's going to help you figure out what to put in your code, your start.bat file. So, what we're going to do here is, see, I messed up my own rule. I need to make another one, a copy of this. So that way, in case I mess up, I have this original one that I know works. And we'll show you real quick that it works. So it comes out the box working. You just need to put your information in so you're not actually mining for the other guys. So, excuse me a minute as I fumble around for links. There we go. Alright. So just to show you it works. Stop that second card. I gotta stop the second card or it's gonna freeze. There we go. Yeah, this is gonna be, it might be a pop-up that you'll see. If if you got the link from the site that I showed you, you can go ahead and allow this. You know, be careful if you download from somewhere else. As you can see, it does hash just the way it should have with the current start.bat with the default stuff. It's just hashing to somebody else's address. So we'll stop that. And like I said, we're going to make another copy of this. Paste it here, and then we're going to rename it. What I normally do is I rename it the coin that I'm going to be mining. So I might just say Ether. You want to leave it a .bat file. So that way when you call it, it's going to call this program. You're going to go back inside of it with the edit, and you're going to add those variables up top, like I said before. Which accidentally got deleted, so off my clipboard, so let's go ahead and do that again. Alright, so there's the variables there. And like I said, it's good to go right now, but we just need to change this pool and this address. I think we can hold off on dual mining for now. So if you want to stop a line from being run, you just normally use we just use these what you call them? Pound symbols, and that stops the line from being run. Alright, let's go back to picking a pool. So like I said, for the pool and how it works, this would be something you add in there, this top part, and then this would be the port number. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is actually a little bit better explanation on this pool site. It's for a coin called Dynasty Coin. It's a very, very cheap coin. Yeah, all the information's here. You just have to read about it. It tells you what ports you want to use. What it tries to do is it tries to split up the miners in relation to their hash power. So if you just have like one card, or you're, you know, like a crappy computer that you're using, you'd want to use this beginner port here. Now, if you have like a full rig like I do, you might want to use this one. And if you're on nice hash and you got like some massive hardware, you'd want to use this port here. If you don't go in the right port, sometimes you can actually get banned. They ban you so because, you know, you're lagging out the other people basically. So some ports or some pools actually offer dynamic difficulty, which means there's only one port you join, and then it automatically adjusts your difficulty as it figures out how strong you're mining. So yeah, so I'm going to keep this link in there too, show the reward types. But I think we're going to settle on this Ethermine pool because it's the one that I like the most. But like I said, you can pick pretty much anyone you want here. So we just click that link. And here we are. It's a pretty nice looking website, I must say. It's easy on the eyes, which is, you know, pretty important sometimes, especially when you're staring at a screen for hours on end. But we just need to figure out how to connect. Alright, so we're going to go down here, and it's telling us right here. This is just an example of what your code would look like for ETH miner, but it would basically look almost exactly the same for Claymores miner, which is what we're using. But anyway, I'm on the east coast of the United States, so I'm going to use this port here. You always want to pick the closest one because that decreases the latency. If you have too much latency, you may not get the share in time, and somebody else gets it in. So it's called like an invalid share or a stale share. So it doesn't count for you, and you don't get any credit for it. So you want to make sure that you pick the closest port, closest server, which is USA, and closest port there. So we're going to go back to our file, and all we got to do is put this in here. Now, it doesn't show it there, but we want to do something called a stratum server. Like this here. We're going to put that in front. That's all. It's right in front of there. So you got the thing you got from the site. Make sure you always have this stratum part. That's important. Or if you do SSL, make sure you put that there as well. So we got the port of 4444. Yeah, 444. And we got this pool here. Next thing you need to do is get a wallet address. If you don't have one, I got some links here, and I'll show you those. You can get the wallet addresses from there. So this one's called My Ether Wallet. It's a very basic one, but the reason I like it so much is because you can also get tokens. As you can see, send Ether and tokens. It's a little bit different type of cryptocurrency, but it's basically the same. There's tons of different tokens out there, and a lot of them can be held on this wallet because they're based off of the Ether algorithm and Ether coin itself. So you would just go here and click New Wallet. You want to make a password. I would make something strong or good. I'm not going to continue with this step because I already have my wallet, but you're going to click Create a New Wallet. Once you do that, and you put your password in, it's going to give you a file to download. It's called a UTC file. You're going to keep that in a safe place because that can be used to unlock your wallet with your password. It's also going to give you the option to print out a paper wallet. Basically, it's going to have your address on there, which you need to know. So you're going to want to write that down. And it's also going to have your private key. Now, your private key can unlock your wallet without the use of anything else. The UTC file, you need the password. The wallet address itself, you can't do anything with. So you need to have either that UTC file, or you need to have your private key to unlock. So another one might be a little bit easier to set up. Actually, it's probably a little bit harder. Is the blockchain one. So basically, what you do with that is you're actually making an account with them. You'd click Get Free Wallet. I'm not going to do that though because I already have one. It's going to give you, like when you sign up, it's going to give you options to make a password. So you'll have the password, and then you also have a recovery key, which is normally, I believe, 12 different, randomly chosen by blockchain.info. Randomly chosen by blockchain.info. They're going to ask you to print out a piece of paper and write it down. Which is the best way to do it, but you could always, take a picture of it with your phone. Just gotta make sure you don't lose that picture. Or make a file. If you're gonna make a file, I'd make sure you at least have a couple backups in different locations. If you're gonna do the paper one, I'd at least have a couple backups as well. So that's your recovery key. If you ever get locked out, you're gonna need that to get back in. They'll also give you a wallet ID number. To get in on a regular basis to your wallet, you will just use the wallet ID number and then your password that you created in the beginning. So you have a few ways to get into this one. This wallet can actually do Ether as well, and Bitcoin Cash, I believe, and maybe Litecoin, but I'm not 100%. So it's a pretty good one as well. It seems like a bigger target than my Ether wallet, and it seems a little more centralized. So I chose my Ether wallet for Ether. I have some Bitcoin over here, but so those are the two main wallets. There's definitely other options. There's hardware wallets called Trezor and Ledger. Both of those are probably more safe than these options, but they're a little bit more inconvenient as far as when you need your coins. You have to go through a little bit of a procedure to get them. But as far as my Ether wallet goes, I can have my Ether wallet unlocked relatively quickly. The same thing with Bitcoin, but as far as the Nano goes, it would take, maybe like a couple minutes. So, not like that's a big deal, but. Alright, so let's take a look at our file, see what we got now. So by now we made our address, which I didn't do because I already have one. So that's what we're missing here. We're missing this address and then a password. Normally the password's just X, you know, unless you made a password specific. So say if you have a pool that you log into, you may actually have a password to put in. But I just use regular generic X password most of the time, and that's fine because most of these pools don't require a password. But so here we got our file here. We went through all this, the pool, talked about the difficulty. We got your wallet. Now we're going to put my wallet in here. That's my donation wallet. If anyone's interested, it's in the description. Paste that in here. So there we go. Now we got my wallet in there, and we got the password X. Now there's a couple more things I suggest adding. So I'll show you those. There's tons of things you can do with this. The Claymore is just extremely easy to use of most of the miners. It's actually the one that I find the easiest. People might disagree with me there, but you know, definitely works the best in my eyes. But you know, to each their own is what they say, right? Alright, so first thing we're going to do is enable something called Watchdog. Let's just copy paste that. Watchdog is going to be like carefully watch your miner, see if your card gets hung up anywhere. Let's go ahead and read what his explanation for it is. All the way down here? Yeah. Watchdog option. Default value is -WD1. It enables Watchdog. Miner will be closed or restarted. C-R option if any thread is not responding for 1 minute or OpenCL call failed. So basically, if your miner slips up, this thing is going to reboot it for you. Alright? Another thing you need is restart miner mode. Default restart miner if something is wrong with GPU. So this one, yeah, so -1 would disable automatic restarting. Here you could set a timer as well. Yeah, I don't like how these things are tabbed. It's kind of hard to read, but yeah, so this is how you set a timer, and I believe it's in minutes. There's a second. Anyway, R-R1 closes the miner and executes the reboot file. So that's normally what I go with. But in this case, I believe that so the reboot file would reboot the whole miner. So if you have a computer, you can do that too. You can go ahead and try that one. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at -R1 like I had it on. You know what? I'm gonna change it to R0. Change it to -R0. I think that makes more sense. See, I'm still figuring this thing out anyway. Like how all the commands work and whatnot, and you know, sometimes the wording's a little weird. It's hard to, you know, follow. But yeah, so we have that part in there. What else do we need to add? Alright, so we should add a worker. Now this is when you log into the pool. A lot of times, you know, people log into a pool and they have multiple miners on that one pool. They want to get all their hash power together and combine for a better reward. So when they do that, they'd like to distinguish this computer from that computer or this miner from that miner. So this is how you're going to do it. It's something called, it's a command called eWorker in Claymore. So you would just type eWorker and then name it. I'm going to call mine gaming because this is my gaming computer. And then my password is going to be X because, like I said, most pools don't take a password. But if your pool does take a password, then you would go ahead and put that in there. So I'm going to save this file. Yeah, so we'll go here. We need to get the address so you guys can actually see it's mining. Now that that file is saved, Normally what I do is I would make like a shortcut and put it on the desktop so it's easy to get to and quick. But, you know, wherever you want to put it, that's fine. But once you double click that, it's going to run. A lot of times you need to run these kind of things in administrator mode, or it does it automatically. But this one's doesn't seem to need it for me, so I'm just going to start running. I'm going to turn off my second card, which is the one that's hooked to my monitor, so it doesn't freeze up on us. I don't think I'm missing something. Yeah, we're missing something. Let's try this again. But, what are we missing? Yes. I think it's still mining dual coin, that's why. I forgot to take that out of there. Alright, so e-worker set. Yeah, so we want to set ESM 0. Okay, so let's see what ESM 0 means. Let's see if that's the right thing we want to set also. ESM. ESM is, alright, the Ethereum algorithm mode for AMD cards is 0. No, that's the wrong one. Ethereum stratum mode. Alright, so that's the one. Yeah. Ether 0 is just proxy. Okay, so yeah, normally you would just set it to ESM 0. Some of these other miners use different ones, like QT miner and NiceHash. So just be careful. You might need to mess with that to get it to work if you're using these different miners. I mean, yeah, different pools. Sorry. So dash ASM. If you have a NVIDIA card, you're not going to use this one. This is for AMD cards only. It just enables the. It looks like it says it enables the assembler GPU kernel. So do dash ASM. Where is that file when I need it? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, you just do dash ASM. And let's see what else we need. And normally you do dash mode. Now, this is the thing that tells you about the different, if you're dual mining or single mining. So let's take a look here at the mode and it'll be explained a little better. So mode 0 is default, which means dual. So if you don't touch it or you don't add it in there, that's what's going to happen, and that's what happened when I started the mine. Mode 1 just means Ethereum only. Okay? So it's either 0 or 1. If you're just doing Ether, which I definitely recommend doing first before you try to dual mine, then you would just put 1. Okay, let's see if we have anything else to put here. Normally add this here, all pools. Set it to 1. Let's take a look at that. All pools. Yeah, I still don't know these by heart. I've been messing with this thing for months, and I still got to refer to this website. Specify. If miner does not want to mine on specified pool because it cannot mine dev-free on that pool, but you agree to use some default pools for dev-free mining. Note that if dev-free mining pools will stop, entire mining will be stopped too. I'm not really following that too much, but I do know most people say to leave it all pools 1. Most tutorials, so I'm going to go with that. Seems to have been working for me. I think it gives the development miner, which basically, like, Claymore charges something. He charges 1%. I believe it's like 1.5 to like 2.5%. So every once in a while, your miner is going to stop. It's going to mine for him. which is no big deal because it's not a lot, and you know you're basically using his service. Without him, you'd be pretty much nowhere. So I've come to accept it. I don't even notice it anymore. Some people may not like it. Then there may be other options out there that are cheaper, but this one tends to get normally the best results as well. So like I said, you'll want to set dash all pools to 1. And I think that's it. Normally, you can open a port as well if you want to be able to remote view it. Normally I turn that off because I have other miners going on that are using the default port that this uses. So if you don't turn it off, it'll shoot an error at you. I think 0 works. Let's give it a shot though. Yeah, I think that's all we need to add for it. So, I mean, basically most of this time that elapsed was pretty much me just talking. So if you're just going through this and knocking this out, it shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes, I don't think. And to be honest, the steps that I did, pretty much anyone can do. The reading that I did, anyone can do that as well. This is not hard to do. As long as you don't come into it like overwhelmed from the start, then you'll be fine. So just make sure I disabled the video card. And let's go ahead and get our port ready. Our pool ready, so you guys can see that. Let's see what that looks like. Once I get my address put in there. You just enter your address here. Once you set it up to the pool using these settings down here, US, you pick the one that you're closest to. Once you set that up and you start mining, once you find a couple shares, you can go ahead and put your address in here, and that'll give you a tracking on it. So, yeah, I think we can take a look and see if there's any tracking going on. Let me open this again now. So it's right here. So I have so many things open, it's hard to follow. But copy that. Paste that in here. The first time I ever mined to this address, so looks like it's yet to find anything. Let's go back and take a look at the miner. Maybe there's issues with it. Nope, seems to be running fine. Let's make sure we're hitting the pool correctly. Alright, so let's go through this while we can. Say unknown option 1. Something's off in this, but this has to do with spacing somewhere. Let's take a look. See if we can figure that out. Option 1, huh? Am I all pools on, maybe? I mean, it's still mining, but I'm trying to figure what throws that error right now. That's the thing about this. You know, it may drive you a little crazy sometimes, but a lot of times it's just something stupid and you just miss it. You know, I've missed tons of stuff. Let's go ahead and delete this. It doesn't matter because we have the original start.bat, that file, so we can always revert back to that. So we'll delete that, see if that was causing the issue. Don't think it was, but hey, why don't we give it a shot? We still haven't found a share yet, so it's not going to report anything until we find a share. So let's try this again. Close that down. Give it another shot. Make sure we turn off my second card. It's still unknown option 1. Alright, we're gonna try something else. Try to remove this. See, it might throw me an error, like I said, but who knows. Yeah, I wonder. Still 1, huh? Driving me nuts. Well, we can watch this mine. Take a look at this. The thing, you mess with notepads, so it's one little slip up here, there, one little space. You guys see the error, let me know. Ah, there it is. See? And declare this one. And call that variable. That is an important one. Alright, let's try again. Extra card. Yeah, so I didn't put the 1 after ASM. Once I add that in, I get no errors up here. Alright, so everything should be running smoothly now. Let's see if we can explain some of this stuff. Up here, it's calling those variables that I had you put in the top. Okay? Bang, 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 bang. Here, it's specifying your pool. I normally just specify 1, but you can actually specify more than 1 in case the 1 fails. At least 16 gigabytes of ultra memory is required for multi-GPU systems. Okay, I know that. Make sure you define this. I got that. Careful with overclocking. I made another video showing you guys how to overclock and fix your BIOS. So use that as a reference. OpenCL initializing finds the AMD card, the Ellesmere RX 570, 8 gigabyte, 32 compute units. Algorithm ASM, that one thing that I was missing, is now found. So everything should be good to go now. It says to be careful with overclockings. First, just use regular without your overclocking and the BIOS. And I definitely recommend that. That way, you know, you don't hurt your card, and you know you have a benchmark as to what you were getting before, and it, you know, so you can see what you're getting in the future. You know, see how much better you can get it by a BIOS edit and a overclock. Anyway, so keep pushing down. It wants to initialize the video card, which we don't need to do, so I pressed 1 and I turned that off. So you can just call on the number of the GPU to turn off that card while this is running. So here we are. We're going to look at the Ethernet Stratum. That's like I told you, you had to add a Stratum server. That's pretty much standard nowadays for mining. All tools option is set, like I said. Watchdog enabled. So if card messes up, it's going to reboot the miner for you. Setting DAG. Now the DAG file keeps growing, bigger and bigger. I'm not exactly sure what it means 100%, but the bigger it gets, the harder it is for the smaller cards to mine. I guess this, this is a very, very rough estimate, but it could be like the file could be 2.7 gigs or so that your card is processing. And I think that's, this is just the level, but it really corresponds with the gigabytes that the DAG file size is. I think it's about 2.7, 2.6, something like that, gigabytes. At a certain point, certain cards will become, won't be able to mine Ether anymore. Once it gets over the amount of gigabytes of RAM, that card is no longer going to mine. Now, you can always find, maybe a different algorithm coin or a different coin that has a newer block that you may be able to mine with that smaller memory card. But the best thing to do when you're actually buying these cards is to make sure you buy for the future. And what I mean by that is get an 8 gigabyte card rather than a 4 gigabyte, because your 4 gigabyte card might not last you more than a couple of years. And it might progressively get worse as this DAG file increases. 8 gigabyte card will last you a lot longer. So we're down here and we are mining. Look, we found a share already. So we got one share, and I guess we've been up for what, like a minute or two. So it's still hashing pretty good, 29.5. And like I said, unless you've modded your BIOS and overclocked your card, you're not going to get numbers anywhere near this. But, this is how you're going to set it up to start, and then from this point on, then you can worry about the other things, overclocking and whatnot. But that's not correct. Is the card crashed or what? I don't know what the deal is here. So I have to bring a crash. See, this is the thing about Windows and why I generally don't like to use it that much for mining, because it just crashes all over the place. Let's try this again. Why GPU-Z? I mean, not GPU-Z. Not sure why MSI Afterburner is not showing the proper stuff. So basically the card's off now. Let's turn it back on. This is seeming to be a bit more difficult than I thought it would be. Turn that second card off. Let's let it run through again. Alright, now we're clocking. Alright, so that's what I wanted to show you. Now we should be good. Alright, so this is the clocks that I use, 1150, 2050. But I have my BIOS modded as well. So you combine those two together. That's how you pull these 29.5s, these 30s, when you're mining. As long as Windows doesn't mess up too much, you can do okay in Windows. Once you get like a rig going and you got a few cards, then maybe you can use a different software that they charge. But for right now, Windows will get you set up and get you mining. And it's actually pretty easy to do. I had a couple hiccups here or there, but it's expected in this kind of stuff. It's not rocket science, but it's also not too easy. It's pretty easy, but it's not too easy. So let's go ahead and refresh this, see if we get some stats, and yes we can. What do we got? Alright, so this is reported. We have one valid share. So we are mining, everybody. The current hash rate, don't worry about that. Don't worry about the average until you've mined for maybe like a couple hours at least. Like sometimes they say it takes, maybe like a day or so before you actually get your true numbers here. But this site will actually tell you your payouts and how much it'll estimate you earn too. It's pretty good. It's pretty in depth. And it'll give you estimates and payouts and different settings you can do. You can change your threshold here. What you need to do is you put your email address in, and you can actually, they'll send you like an email if your worker goes offline as well. So you put your email address in, and you're going to want to lower your payout normally, unless you're a big player. It would take me quite some time to get one full ether. So what I normally do is 0.05, and then right down here you would put in your IP address. Yeah, so to where your worker is. So basically your computer's IP address, which will not be the 192 number. It's your external IP address, I'm pretty sure. So that way they know that you are the miner, and they can go ahead and lower your payment. So they know that you're not, you know, just somebody else that went ahead and put that address in up here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So we got a couple shares here. The code is very simple. Look at that. It's like 3 lines, right? You know, you add these variables in. You add this variable. You add this variable. Here you add, you know, your Stratum server and your Stratum port, and the port corresponds with your difficulty. You create your ether address at my ether wallet or blockchain.info. You put that in there. You add a worker. Call mine gaming, but you can call it whatever you want. So that way you can distinguish upon your other workers on your pool. You add your password, and like I said, some sites will require an actual password. This site doesn't, so I just put X. You have your ESM, and you want to set that to 0, and your ASM, which is also 1. Your mode's going to be 1 because you want to at least start off with single mining. Once you get to dual mining, you would just do mode 0, which would be the default, and then you would do all pools 1, which will allow the dev mining to go to any of the pools so that he has listed. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope somebody will pick this up and learn it. I mean, this is exactly what it's all about. You need to pass this stuff on to people. Nobody showed me, I mean, or helped me really at all. I pretty much learned all this on my own, and it was a bitch. It was a pain in the ass. I want to make it easy for you guys. I want to make it easy for everybody. This community grows when people share and help each other. You know, if I sit here and I don't teach no one nothing, and don't give back to the community at all, you know, I'm doing a disservice. I'm not helping promote crypto. You know, every little bit counts. Every little bit raises the price a little bit more and more. So, the more miners we get out there, the more people we get interested, the higher the price of Bitcoin goes, and the more money people make. And the more decentralized our financial system gets, which is the ultimate goal in the end, to take it out of the bank's hands. There's been a lot of trouble with things like that. So, hope you guys learned something. I'm sorry if it took too long. I'll probably, you know, I'll make a video. I'll put it on YouTube. I'm going to cut out some shit though, because there was a lot of different errors and whatnot. But so you have this video, me teaching you how to mine with Claymores on Windows. And then if you want, you can go ahead and after you figure this out, you can go ahead and check out my video of how to mod your BIOS. And that'll teach you how to get the most out of your card. That way you can pull these 29.5s like I can. Alright guys, take care.